Mahmoud has been working in experimental agriculture for several years as an alternative to the traditional economic resources in Chinguetti. He has a garden in the palm grove near the city where he cultivates new plants, which are unknown to this area.
What do you have here?
It's a palm grove that I planted last year. The livestock usually comes and eats the dates from the lowest branches, which is why I've put up a fence. Air can get in, and so does sunlight.
We can't even pick the dates.
Of course you can't. We can't either, nor the children who often come here and tear them off.
You have truly done a good job.
Two years ago, this plot of land only had 3 large palm trees, and even they were threatened by the sand. I dug this well, bought machinery, leveled the land, and built a dike to keep the dune from covering it. Everyone else only plants palm trees, that's all they believe in. I had the idea of buying seeds and small fruit trees that I brought from Nouakchott. Everything I planted is grown and is alive. I wanted to show the people that it's possible to live without palm trees. Palm trees are fine, but there are other things. Now, neighbors come to ask me for seeds for lemon trees or banana plants, which are said to be good for keeping mosquitoes away. In a few years, these gardens will be full of fruit trees.
أنا بايك مختار ومفضل عن مفضل الأولى ذيك اللي شفت فيها مثل جابر من واحدة لك انتهى
خذ مقياس من عينات النباتات طبيعية وعندها مضخة تصب لها الميت اللي تحت الشيء تحتها ذب
مصوبة من الظاهر مصوب
اللي تدخلوا.
Mahmoud's family belongs to the Brotherhood of the Tijaniya. Organizing brotherhoods of the faithful around the figure of a holy man is a practice that is looked down upon by Orthodox Muslims. Beginning in the 13th century, the Sufis reacted against the strict Islamic orthodoxy and adopted more mystical interpretations of the Book of Law. In some way, the Sufis' more open attitude facilitated the mixing of Islamic beliefs with those prior to the arrival of Islam. Beginning in the 13th century, the Brotherhoods and the Marabouts, the holy men, were essential elements for the expansion of Islam in West Africa, and Chinguetti was one of the centers of that expansion. Essel Muenda form part of the Brotherhood, even though they don't live in the city. The Brotherhood is a group of people who are faithful to an idea, and they belong to the Brotherhood despite the distance. The Tijaniya Brotherhood is the biggest and most flexible of Mauritania's brotherhoods. Its rights are simple, and its demands are few, which has made it very popular. In Chinguetti, there are still some ancient madrasas, the Quranic schools that made the city famous throughout the Islamic world. The Marabouts have taken on the responsibility of keeping a 1,000-year-old tradition alive, which still attracts young people from the farthest corners of the country. The madrasa is more than a school, or better yet, it is a school in the broadest sense of the word. It is a space and time dedicated to the discussion and exchange of words from the Prophet Muhammad. These boys who are now listening to the Marabout are being initiated in a language that is as valid today as it was on the first day.
Today I want to talk about the problems and advantages of the modern world. European scientists have discovered many things, especially in this last decade.
Let's
discuss what the Quran's point of view is.
The Quran and the teachings of Hajj Omar or Hamed al-Tiyani are still valid today. Although it appears that new advances have brought new problems, it's not true. The problems have always been the same: egotism, vanity, and the desire to possess more and more.
I agree. We find answers to everything in the Quran. It is simply knowing how to interpret its meaning and being able to adapt it to our circumstances.
In the Quran, God tells the story of two men who fell asleep in a cave. When they woke up, they realized that 300 years had gone by while they were sleeping. Nothing was the same. The form of government, the people, the customs. Don't you ever feel like those men did when they came out of their cave?
The marabouts are not only teachers, but also spiritual leaders. In the past, they had moral authority, which allowed them to influence the decisions made by the tribal leaders. Today, this power has evaporated before the high circles, but not amongst the rest of the population, which still goes to the marabouts for advice or to ask for an amulet to ward off the evil eye.
Excuse me?
In Chinguetti, there is one television for the whole city. Eselmu and Da have not seen the TV yet, since it was installed in the cultural center just recently. I like to watch the Champions League soccer matches. And when there are no soccer matches, we watch films.
We read the manuscript, Dr. Assistance. And we should get down to the short strokes, surely, thereby prolonging my unfortunate existence.
It would be naive to declare that the nomads live in a time capsule. Aside from the peaceful and heady aspect of the camp, many things have changed in the last decade. Maybe too many things and too fast. Nomadic life in Mauritania, as in the rest of the world, is a lifestyle headed for extinction, one that is breathing its last and giving way to urban life. In Sahel, the main causes for the disappearance of the nomads are the drying wells, the lack of trust towards men who do not respect the frontier, and the call of the city. Ali and his family are holding out like true gladiators for survival in the desert.
Everything that is important to us is here in the camp. I have also tried city life. I bought a wheat grinder and worked hard, but I had no other choice but to return to the desert. I could not adapt to the car fumes or to the fast pace. Everyone wanted wheat at the same time, and I only had one machine. I don't want any other life but this one. But my children want to study. The money that my wife and I earn from the sale of animals pays for our children's education. Our older children live in Nouakchott, and they only come back on vacation in order not to forget about us.
My dream is for it to rain for days and days on end, until the dry land becomes an immense green meadow and our children come back to live with us forever. My dream is every day. Here, life is hard, but Ali and I do not like the city. I prefer to be close to the animals. Aside from the difficulties, there is still enough milk and food to live without going hungry. We have everything that we could possibly want, but without luxuries. Sometimes we go to Chinguetti. We sell some animals, and we buy the things that we need: salt, rope, tea.
Ali and Deida divide the daily chores equally, with no more conflicts than any other couples with 30 years of dedication behind them.